welcome to a new edition of our program Women's World. And in this edition of the program we will talk about the role of Egyptian women in the civil society organization and different NGOs. And viewers, short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers, and now we are joined over the phone by Dr. Nevine Makram Labib. She is Vice President of the Egyptian Society for Information Systems and Computer Technology. Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
So, of course, Dr. Nevine, the civil society organizations and the NGOs play an important role in the development process, and today we are interested to put more light on the role of women in these societies. So can you tell us more about this?
Actually, in recent years, we noticed a notable trend that has emerged, and we noticed that we have more women coming as presidents or vice presidents or contributing to the success of many civil society organizations. And again, as you know, there are many factors that are contributing to this trend, such as, for example, the education, since we have increased access to education for women, and this led to higher literacy rates and greater awareness of social issues. We have some change in the social norms, so we've seen societal attitudes that are changing and that evolving towards having more women participation in the NGOs. We've got also some focus on the social issues. And we have definitely the networking and support, because we have many platforms for women, and it's aiming to connect these women and women as by their nature, they try to support each other, and they're focusing on having their voices there and the participation of the NGOs. And again, as we know, this has a great impact on the society.
So, Dr. Nevine, what are the challenges that face the Egyptian woman in her work with different NGOs and these civil society organizations?
Let's say that things are getting much better, but we're still facing some challenges, like, for example, that we have some barriers in reaching the top leadership positions within the larger NGOs. Sometimes we're faced with some funding disparities. So we've noticed that the women-led organizations often receive less funding compared to male-led counterparts. In some societies, not in Egypt, maybe the female participation in the public life is still facing the distance, whereas I think that in Egypt it's very acceptable nowadays with the women empowerment. But we as women, we still need to focus on the work-life balance, because sometimes some of the responsibilities may interact with the personal and family obligations, and this is a very challenging issue for us as women.
Yes, also, Dr. Nevine, if we talk about the state strategy to empower women and help them to play a bigger role in the society, how do you describe these efforts?
Again, I see there is very tremendous efforts. There are efforts that are being made, especially in Egypt, in our society, and we've seen that the presence of women in the state institutions is much better than what was in the Egyptian society before. And again, this has a very good impact on all of the community initiatives. We've noticed many initiatives, whether to empower women or initiatives led by women to empower less privileged people in our society.
If we talk also about the role of women in the different NGOs, especially when it comes to supporting patients and children and homeless children also. So can you describe her role in these initiatives?
Again, as we know that women are mainly led by empathy. So they're trying to understand and share the feelings of others. That's why we've seen more women involved in charitable work, whether we're talking about homeless, because women are usually, influenced by many feelings and towards children, and also in the healthcare field. And we've seen that many research has suggested that women score very high in these fields. We've seen many initiatives led by women, whether we're talking about Egypt, about the Arab world, or worldwide, because women view healthcare as a fundamental human right. So they're trying to focus on it. They're trying to provide more effort and more funds. They're providing many services to those who are interested or those who need our intervention as women whenever it comes to healthcare field.
So, Dr. Nevine, as the whole world now is moving towards artificial intelligence, how can we encourage women to be part of this transition?
Okay. I really love this question because, as you know, I'm a professor of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And I'm right now involved in two initiatives. One initiative is hoping to make things better for women in the Middle East and in the Arab world using artificial intelligence,
yes.
So as women can benefit out of it, but we need to focus on the education and the awareness. I'm also involved in another initiative that's aiming at empowering women in Upper Egypt in this field. So we need to start, first of all, by kind of some awareness campaigns, so as to give an idea to these women and shed more light on the concept of artificial intelligence, the role of artificial intelligence, how can women, even the less educated, how can they benefit out of having these technologies. And then we need to focus on providing them with simple educational programs or mobile applications or platforms that will enable them to understand even the primary concept, what is artificial intelligence, how can they benefit even for their families, how can they deal with the problems in the family, the problems and issues with their children, how come maybe they can start their own business, because we have many women who need to be working from home. So maybe we can focus on women as entrepreneurs. And he was talking about even simple thoughts that they can do, and they can gain money and provide financial resources for their families. And then we need also to educate them in the healthcare field, because we have many programs and many mobile applications that can help, whether in mental health or the healthcare issues. Like, for example, explaining to them a very good project that is led by the Ministry of Telecommunication with Bahia Hospital, and that's aiming at the early detection of breast cancer.
Yes.
So we need to emphasize on this. We have many mobile applications that can help educate women, tell them how to deal with the simple medical problems that can face their kids. So I guess it's all about awareness, education, and training. And of course, we need the media here. The media, at least to tell them about these initiatives, like what you're doing in your distinguished program right now, so that these women can understand that there are many benefits actually out of using artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not only talking about robots and robots that can help at home and all of these things, but it can be better for them in terms of providing them with financial resources, in terms of educating their kids, in terms of having better healthcare services, and so on. And I think that that's one of our priorities in Egypt.
And how do you describe the cooperation that you see when you go to Upper Egypt? How do women respond to your attempts to teach them more about this new technology?
I find women very interested in knowing more about these technologies because they often hear the term, but they're not really aware.
Yes.
So we try to explain to them that artificial intelligence is mainly kind of simulating the human intelligence, and it's there to help them. Sometimes I try to focus more on the data analytics because they need to understand more about their kids. They need to be able to cope with them. They need to monitor their use of their mobiles because we've seen maybe in all of Egypt that sometimes there is some, let's say, disadvantages of these technologies when it comes to children who are addicted to technology and who are becoming more addicted to some mobile applications that are not really nice, that are not really acceptable in our society. So whenever they find that, I take the approach of what's in it for me, because we're not there to have developers, but we're there to educate these women to benefit. So when you try to tell them that they'll be able to work from home, that they'll be able to raise their children in a better way, they'll be able to cope and to deal with their problems, again, in a better way, then they're very happy and interested. So I think it's the approach that counts, the what's in it for me, as we usually teach people.
So if we again talk about women in Upper Egypt and rural areas, to what extent they benefit from the different initiatives that were launched recently and target the developments of these areas like Decent Life and other initiatives?
As we all know, with Decent Life initiative, it's a real success story because it did a very important thing. Increase their sense of belonging. It made women there feel that they're part of the society. They are not neglected, but on the other hand, that the state cares a lot about them and that they can have better educational and healthcare services and a better life, a decent life, as we say, out of this initiative. So I felt that first of all, they feel the sense of belonging, which is a very important issue for us as Egyptians. They started to be, educated in many fields, like, for example, in the healthcare, getting to know more about the simple services that the state is providing for them. They're now keen more about getting to know about the new technologies, or at least about the importance of education. So I see that this initiative has changed many things in the society there. And it's improving their lifestyle and it's making them feel important, which is, again, a crucial issue for us.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Nevine Makram Labib, Vice President of the Egyptian Society for Information Systems and Computer Technology. Thank you, Dr. Nevine, and the viewers, a short break, and we'll be back, so stay tuned. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of our program, Women's World, in which we talked about the role of Egyptian women in different non-governmental organizations and in civil society organizations, and also the state strategy to empower women and different initiatives launched by the government to support this issue. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition. Thank you for watching.